hardest thing for you as a rape survivor?
Um, I think for me, it's the stigma attached to it and the way it is dealt with in this country. I think so often the emphasis is put on the victim. Why did you do it? What were you wearing? Where were you? Were you drinking? All these questions get thrown at the victim, where I really feel that as a country, we should rather be turning to the perpetrator and saying, why did you do it? You know what I mean? I think it's very wrong, and it's a very hard thing for me to grasp, is that why are we always labeling the victim? We should be labeling the perpetrator. At the end of the day, they're the one that has done the thing wrong. The victim is actually the one who's done nothing wrong, and everything is always put onto them.
Well, that makes sense to you and me, and it's so unfortunate that we often hear people thinking that way and see people on social media saying things that push the blame onto the victim. What do we need to do to change this mindset in society?
I think exactly that. We need to stop blaming the survivor, the victim. We need to stop asking questions like, where were you, what were you doing? I recently posted a picture of, two pictures actually, on my Facebook page. One was a pie chart, and it said causes of rape. And there were all the blocks on the side that said drinking too much, wearing the wrong clothes, being at the wrong place. And then the entire pie chart was the one last color, which was the perpetrator. So, I think that is a very good explanation that it doesn't matter what you're doing, that, you haven't done anything wrong. And another one was, it's a picture, a whole lot of pictures of women, but as I said, it's not just women, but this was obviously aimed at women, where it was a picture of a woman in a bikini, then it was all cartoon drawn. A picture of a woman in a bikini, a woman in shorts and a t-shirt, a woman fully clothed, almost in a tracksuit, and then a picture of a woman with nothing on. And then it said underneath, still did not deserve it, still did not deserve it, still did not deserve it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just, we need to stop, again, blaming the survivors, blaming the victims. We need to turn it around. We need to point the blame towards the person who deserved it, which was the perpetrator. And also, I think education. We need to start educating the young, because when I say the young, I don't mean the youth, I don't mean teenagers, I mean the young. Because so often I'll say to parents, you need to educate your child about sexual harassment, about sexual abuse, and about rape. And they'll say, oh, but my child's only 4, it's too young to be talking about sex. And I'll say to them, rape is not sex. It is not a sexual thing. They are not related. All you need to be doing is teaching your child, no one touches you here, no one touches you here. Ever feel uncomfortable, tell mommy or daddy immediately. And I think if we can do something like that, it's obviously not always going to stop it, but if a perpetrator will come to a child and he'll try his luck, and if that child turns around and says, my mommy said you're not allowed to touch me there, I think it makes him less of a target. So I think we need to be educating the young, and then also obviously the youth. We need to be telling people what is rape, why you shouldn't be doing it, what a woman's rights are what as a country we should be doing, and how to respect ourselves. I think that's a big issue as well. I think people have lost respect for themselves. So it's putting a lot of pressure on us when we go out, when we go places, with what we wear, what we do. I think it's putting pressure on us because we're always thinking, is someone going to be judging me? Is it going to cause something? Because that stigma is attached, and because we're labeling rape in the wrong way.
Now, we often hear about rape in the media. It seems like more and more, unfortunately. Why do you think the instances of rape in South Africa are so high?
I can't tell you why they're so high. I mean, there's so many different factors that it could be. It could be to do with poverty. It could be to do with education. There's so many different reasons, and there's so many different types of rape that there is no one reason. But I think, if anything, the stats need to increase. So often I get, the crime stat will be released saying this is how many rapes have happened over the last year, and people, newspapers will phone me and say, aren't you excited the numbers have come down? And to be honest, I'm not. I want the numbers to go up, and everybody's horrified by that response. But if they're saying statistically about 25% of rapes are reported, so then the lower that number comes, it just means more people are being quiet. So I think those numbers need to increase drastically before there's going to be a big change in this country, because that just means more people are speaking out, which means there's more chance of the perpetrators being caught, which means there's less chance of them doing what they've done.
So would you encourage victims of rape to report the case to the police?
Yes, most definitely. Even if you just open a case and you don't want to press charges at that point, always open the case, because they might have previous charges against them. And also for me, I think as a woman, and I often, the more women I talk to, I feel we all have the same response, is that we all say, oh, but I'll be fine, I'll get over it, I don't need to report it, I'll be fine. But then what we're really doing is we're leaving that perpetrator out there to reoffend. And if we report it immediately, we give the information to the police, they've got a lot more chance of catching them and preventing them from doing it to someone else. So I think as women, we've got these motherly instincts to protect. So if we're not doing it for ourselves, let's report it so the perpetrators can be caught, so that we can protect other people.
Why is it that there are so many cases that go unreported?
I think, again, there's so many reasons. I think it's shame, I think it's guilt. Families get involved and they say, we'll deal with this together, we'll go and speak to other families, we'll sort it out. Families get offered money for the child to be quiet. It could be a case where it's a family who are very poverty-stricken, and they're living with another family, and then the man from the other family is doing something to the daughter, and he says, if you say anything, I'm going to kick you out, and she knows now her entire family are not going to have a home, they can't be fed. So there are so many different factors. Also not being able to get to a police station to report it, that's another factor that we deal with. But I mean, there are so many different reasons, and I think the more we educate and the more we get it out there and where you can go and what you can do, I think people will know what to do and where to go, and they'll more chance.
Jess, if we want to find out more information about what your foundation is doing, how can we do that?
You can find us on Facebook. It's Jess Ford, Jess with one S, Ford with two O's. Or you can find me on Instagram, the Jess Ford Foundation. I'm also on Twitter, @Jess Ford. And then finally, obviously, our website, which is www.jff.org.za. And that's JFF for Jess Ford Foundation.